My name's Peter Fogarty. I'm an ice sculptor. The first carving I saw was at the start of my career in cooking, and it was at a hotel. Then the chef did an ice carving of a swan for the grand opening, and I've been hooked ever since. Now I'm 20 years into an ice carving company here in Saskatoon, producing and managing different winter events and ice carving across Western Canada. I'm pretty well all self-taught because there isn't too many schools in North America you can go and learn how to carve ice. I put some ice on top of the Travelodge Hotel and did some carving so all the passerbyers could see it. In Saskatoon, one of the first businesses, it was actually one of the first businesses that opened in 1908 was Arctic Ice Company. And the ice was actually cut out of the Saskatchewan River and was in very high demand because that was the only means of keeping stuff cool. It would get put on trains and shipped around. Now the ice is made in a piece of equipment called a Kleinbell machine, which is much more to the natural way ice was made. The temperature is on one side, so in a lake or a pond. The cold is on the surface, and it gradually freezes the ice through the ice, and it keeps expanding out the bottom, which is what keeps it clear. And I've just reversed that. The blocks of ice are 20 inches by 40 inches by 9.5 to 10 inches and weigh close to 300 pounds. As I first began, moving ice, it's been a process to develop a technique, and now I'm boxing it in such a fashion that it's transportable and then able to ship it out to different locations. Being that the ice is crystal clear, it can be turned into whatever configuration, can be cut and reattached. And of course it's reattached with water or heat, so it's kind of re-welded back together. Winter City YXE contacted me and had a project where they wanted to have ice carvings displayed around the city for people to see with their logo on it. And I had some art students at one of the schools that they came up with the concept. We had the coldest month on record, I think, this last February. Temperatures can change. It can be I've carved in -40, and then 3 days later it's 0 degrees out. You bundle up, you're moving, it's again, live in the prairies, so you're quite accustomed to that weather. You do notice it on your body if you aren't covered up. I have kind of almost froze the tip of my nose, your fingertips. So, you have to be conscientious. You can't just put it down and say, we'll start working on it next week or what have you. So you definitely learn to work around the elements. It blends in with my training as a chef. You have to always deal with different variables and react relatively quickly. You have commitments and, the show must go on. Vandalism, it can happen. As we all know, there's always a bad apple in a bushel, but across the board, it's still, as long as it lasts and can be out, then that's great. In the process of me leaving the hospitality industry and now trying to market and promote ice, I felt that in Saskatoon, I wanted, people here to have the opportunity to see it. So I contacted an event planner, a friend of mine, started working on how to put together an event. So 2009 was the start of the Winter Shines. This year, we built an ice slide for the kids. I do building blocks that I color the ice and cube them up so they can create their own sculptures. There was a Be Amazing couch that we built, and then some live sculpting. Well, it actually is a snow owl. The part that is quite important as anything is obviously the foundation, so the structure and the integrity of the structure is an important part to build. The carving is important with all the details, but it's trying to defy gravity a little bit and create as much movement as you possibly can in the ice to give it some depth. The ice slide is always a fun feature for the kids. We used 6,000 pounds of ice, which was 2,300 pound blocks of ice, and it took us 2 days to build the slide. The theme this year was Saskatchewan growing, so we figured what more Saskatchewan is there of a wheat pool, grain elevator, and that's what we built. Now anything can be programmed, pretty much anything, into the CNC, and I can in fact do exact replicas of logos, of designs, and whatever it may be. I do a lot of corporate logos as well as even components of ice, from ice glasses to ice cubes, ice balls that are crystal clear, to even diamond-shaped ice. Water is very mythical. Your body is 70% water. You are so connected with water. You can't sustain without it. So being involved, seeing water, seeing the magical component of it, it's very fun to work with, and it's as much the joy of seeing people realizing that it is real. People touch the ice all the time. The first question, is that real? And they're quite amazed with it. But then again, it's a living art. So then it gradually changes, but that's part of it. I enjoy the medium itself. I like moving ice. I like seeing it come together from a raw product, from a square cube, to whatever I can create out of that. Your imagination is my creation. Anything you can imagine, I can pretty much create out of ice from one end to the other. It's as vast as you can imagine.